Hope I got enough data, not data, space. Oh, well. Good evening, everybody. My name is Haru Amin-Ra, and welcome to another session of We Keep Us Safe KC panel discussions. And this month, we're going to be going over mental health awareness and holistic and alternative ways of approaching mental health in the Black community. And today, I got 4 special panelists who all do some type of work in mental health. You know, mental health comes in all different forms, from depression to stress to hallucinations, and you know, it gets serious to mild. So all these panelists got different alternatives and different skills in healing those mental health issues. And on the start to my left, could you introduce yourself?
Yes.
Give people a little background on yourself.
I'm Soy. Nice to meet you guys. I'm a psychiatric nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 4 years now. I work in the city. I work with a large range of patients. Anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, a lot of things like that. That's all I have. That's me.
Okay. I am Shataka Young. My field is in education, but I have worked with Department of Mental Health for 4 years prior to my job. And then every year for the past 3 years, my nonprofit organization has hosted a mental health brunch. So I do that as well. And then I'm also starting my master's in mental health counseling in the fall.
That's what I'm talking about.
So yes, I work with the youth a lot.
Thank you.
All right. If you need some help, I got you. Because I have got my master's in mental health counseling. Actually, I got 2 of them: mental health school counseling and then rehabilitation counseling. My name is Richie Cherry. I'm the owner of Box Out Stress and Good Ass Pickles. So if y'all some pickle lovers, I got some flyers in my pocket for you.
You bring some pickles.
Brought some pickles too. You know, but said, yeah, I definitely brought some pickles. I didn't know what was, you know, what the hook gonna be. But I keep my pickles with me. Yes, and also too, before we get off this panel today, I would like for y'all to all pull out your handy dandy phones and go vote for me. I'm a finalist for the Kansas City People's Choice Awards for my pickles. So I'll get that to you later. But yes, Box Out Stress is my mental health platform. But my pickle business is also a mental health platform. You know, I hear people like healing through eating, right? Like we eat to heal. So yes, that's who I am. Product of this community.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Jada Oliver Gray. I feel like connecting with people has been always a part of my life ever since I was like a teenager. Everyone's kind of always confided in me in some kind of way, then I slowly progressed that into actually doing it as like a profession. So I have a bachelor's in psychology, and then I recently last May graduated with my master's in counseling emphasis in school. So right now I work with kids. I was still in elementary for 2 years, about to transition to middle school, but I also started like my own text advice line through COVID, and also generated just a space for people to talk during COVID as well. Just always liking people to connect, so do it my own way, and then also decided to get a degree for it.
Okay, get a hand for our panel. Well, a little bit of background about me. My name is Haru Amin-Ra. I'm originally from the north side of St. Louis, Missouri. Moved here 9 months ago and started organizing with an organization called Incarcerate KC. And from that, I moved on to start this panel discussion. We Keep Us Safe KC panel discussion. I just came up with an idea one day of bringing the community together, and Ms. Flower, she offered this space with Virginia Neighborhood Association. She was like, I can do anything they gotta do with community, so I'm all for community, and so that was bringing us here. And Tonight, we got 4 different topics we gonna focus on. The first one being healing beyond the clinic, alternative and holistic mental health solutions. And this focus is, we'll be focusing on exploring community-based, spiritual, and traditional healing practices. And to jump right into it, our first question: what are some holistic or ancestral practices that support mental wellness?
I would say something that I found is very like integral to people who want to start their like mental health journey is learning how to meditate and sit with yourself. And when you start to have that really intimate relationship with yourself, you start figuring out, you know, what your triggers are, what coping skills work for you, and you know, just how you can be an aid to yourself, and that helps you be an aid to other people.
I would say I agree with that as well. Just being aware of what you need to during your healing journey. I know personally, like I was going through some things this week, and I'm like, I told my friend, I'm like, I just need a hug. Like, so when you're aware and you know what you need, I think it's easier to like go through the emotions and go through the feelings and then try to come up out of that and heal from that point. And then of course like exercising always works for me.
Yes.
Y'all approaches are great, by the way. But I like writing, right? You know, writing it out, talking it out, right? My platform is called Box Out. We talk it out, then we box it out. But doing a cathartic release activity such as boxing, like you said, working out, it helps. But if you're just able to just reflect, you know, and affirm yourself through the stress that you're going through. Like give yourself some affirmations. So each year I come up with my own with an affirmation for myself. Right, this year is to be aware is to have strength. Right, so I'm aware of the pain, I'm aware of the trauma, I'm aware of all the mental illnesses and issues that I'm faced with. And so if I affirm myself through it, I know for a fact I'm going to get past it. So I ask for everybody to truly affirm yourself when you're going through stressful situations.
I would say something that just observing my background with just kids and people, and this makes sense, side of the pivot, I'm also in the military. Just something that we don't naturally do as people is give ourselves time to feel the stress. I feel like naturally we often have to just like put on like the face to just keep going, and then we never just have that moment to just like feel the stress.
Let me sit in this.
Yeah, like we never do, and then at the right wrong time everything just falls apart since we never had that opportunity. So something that I feel like is beneficial to anyone is just making time to just sit and feel. Cause like there's times, at least I know, like working with kids in like high stress situations, I don't have time to like feel it because they have to take up the space for me to like help them out. So like after the day, you kind of just have to just sit in it. So just even scheduling some time to just sit in it and feel is so important. I think a lot of us don't have time to do just because of capacity, just because of stress, just because of like having to go to the next thing, but just scheduling like maybe even 10 minutes to write, to walk, to like ground yourself in all ways, just building in that time.
That's that awareness.
For me, I do when I'm going through whatever I'm going through, depression and stress, I use meditation as a tactic. I use daily affirmations to get me through the day. I found that to work. Actually, when I first moved here in Kansas City, I was listening to Tone Levels. He a conscious rapper, and he came out with a whole album with just affirmations and positive talk. And I started practicing it, and like it worked. Like I talk whatever I speak, whatever I want for myself into existence, just by putting it out there to the universe. And I do a lot of ancestral communication, calling on my ancestors for strength to get me through certain times. Yeah, them some of the holistic ways and ancestral practices that I use. Next question. Anybody feel free to start. We ain't gotta just keep going. Why do many in the black community turn to non-clinical support first?
They don't trust the system and the people there. I'm not as historical as I should be in this life, but just thinking about it, just like all the experimentation that was done on black bodies, like it's kind of hard to trust the institution that did so much things that against us. But now with me working, I'm thankful that I'm a person that can just be a visual representation that is changing. Like even me just being a school counselor in a school with black kids, they're like, you're my counselor, like, yes, you're supposed to talk to me. Just trying to find people that you can trust that looks like you, but like, yeah, it takes some trust. Even now, personally, as going to the doctor is still stressful for me because you have to advocate for yourself. Because those ideas that like black people are so strong, black people are this, you still have to fight those. Like you actively have to still advocate for yourself, even to this day. Like the maternal rate of like women dying for like birthing is still higher, 3 to like 2, I think, for like everybody else. So it's like it's a constant thing that has happened and had happened, and you still gotta actively fight. So history as well as it's still happening. That's what I'm trust.
I'm gonna say, that's a good point. I'm gonna say we turn to those other methods because that's what's comfortable, that's what's available, right? Especially when you're in a low economical, environment. Sometimes you don't have the resources to go get the support that you truly need. So you turn to the drugs, right? You start to indulge yourself in those suppressants. And so that's why we do that, because it's comfortable. I'm with my homeboys, they drinking, they smoking. So what? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna drink and smoke my pain away as well, because I don't have the resources to go get the help that I need. You smoke dope, don't you?
Sure.
I would say the same. We turn to things as familiar. Also, because I feel like a lot of us don't really understand, and we haven't really been taught the right tools. So we just go to what we know and what we see.
It's culture too, right? How many people been told like don't go there? They gonna think you crazy, right?
Right.
Black people don't do therapy.
Yeah, they don't do therapy.
About that now.
Yeah.
It's like don't go there. They gonna think you crazy. Why you going down there?
Right.
You going to get a check, ain't you?
Yeah, what we've been taught.
You going to get a check?
No, I would agree with what you were saying. Like a lot of people I talk to, they'll tell me like it's either like their first time getting help or like it's easy for us to like turn to substances because like they're there and they're
Yeah,
they just feel good, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's hard to like take that first step to like try something different.
Yeah, all those was great answers. With me, for myself, me dealing with my mental health issues, how I used to deal with them, like turning towards drugs and stuff, like you said, cause that was familiar, it was comfortable. I didn't wanna be called crazy for going to get the proper help that I needed until I surrounded myself around good people that really had my best interests in heart and showed me that therapy could be good for me. And like, give me a black therapist, a therapist I could relate to. Might not find them at the first one, shop around. And once I started going to therapy, that was like, I swear my life changed like instantly. And like we was just knocking down accomplishments every week. And it put me in a better space in my life. And yeah.
Good for you, bro.
Thank you. Next question. How can we validate and uplift these alternative healing spaces?
We have to make them available, right? We have to truly say, this is what's available. I've started a men's group, right? It's called Accountability Brothers, where brothers come together and they truly unpack. We call it the Unpack series. The next one is next Tuesday, June the 3rd. Come on out to the Black Coat. You got a brother in your life, you got a father in your life, a cousin, a nephew, 13 and older. Bring them out. Come on out and some of my best healing has happened when I was surrounded by people that I felt like you said really care for me. Like when I'm able to just talk to my brothers and they hold me accountable, we hold each other accountable. Aru will tell you like we really talk about those uncomfortable things that we really can't talk about just freely. So make them available. Make those things available. Put it out there. You know, people only gonna come if they're able to, if they have it available at their hands. So just like the dope, put out the healing practices too. Make them free.
Yeah, I would say that too. Just push it. Even with my mental health brunch that I have, for the last 2 years, we were charging a fee, and it wasn't the best. And this year, we made it free.
That
to the
first year
community.
though.
Okay, you was on the panel, yes.
That food though. That food.
But this year, we made it free, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
You get some poetry there.
That's right.
But, so I'm like, just offer resources, push these different events, come together as a community. And I know sometimes it's hard, because even with my organization, we provide food and things like that, but I'm like, we gotta make a way, because a lot of people can't afford to come. But
Exactly.
they want to be there. So, yeah, I would just say, just push different events and different resources for people.
I say meet people where they are. With me, with certain situations, working in a school, like some parents can't do it, and so the best way I try to do is just bridge the gap. Like I had a parent that lost her fiance to a shooting, and they had a young kid in the school, and like she was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, what if I just call you the next day, just slowly, just like meet you, just like call you, see how you doing, and then from there let's get resources. Like you gotta meet everybody where they are at the time. Sometimes they can't show up, but like, let me just have this conversation with you right here and just keep on following up. Some people, that's all they can do, is just the conversation right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think having spaces where vulnerability and accountability are so important, and whether that starts with like you being that friend or that family member who someone can talk to, it really like, it will start to branch out into like all facets of everybody's life.
Dope.
Hey, for me, outside of therapy, when I was back home, I worked for an organization called Freedom Community Center, and we partnered up with an organization called Black Men Build. My cousin, he was one of the top people in that organization, and they created a men's circle every other Monday of the month. And when I tell you, that was phenomenal. I watched it. I remember the first one, and I'm talking about it's so big now. I'm like, brothers coming out here, and we like, man. So when I moved her in January, when I ran across you, and met him, got invited to his accountability brothers, it was the same vibe, and like, it was nothing but love, and like, all those brothers there, we like keep in contact with each other. We hold each other accountable, and we speak what's on our mind and get good information back from others who might be going through the same thing or went through the same thing that we went through. Like, yeah, I love that. Good job, brother. And the next topic we finna hit on, first of all, we got time. Do y'all got any questions for the panelists about the first topic we went through? Anybody?
Any questions on anything?
Yeah.
Let not your heart be troubled.
We'll keep moving to the next one. The next topic is therapy isn't taboo, normalizing mental health conversations. And we'll be focusing on reducing the stigma around therapy and emotional vulnerability. And, first question, why do therapy and mental health conversations still feel taboo in our community?
It's what's passed down, you know. It's just passed down, I think, you know. And again, going back to making it available, right? Meeting people where they are. If you put, like with my boxing program, like sometimes I'm just talking and, you know, they doing the punches, right? But they not even knowing that they're in a real session right now. They're not even knowing that they getting some real therapy right now, because we just having a cool conversation. And before you know it, they looking up, they like, man, I really feel good. And I left them with an affirmation. I affirmed them, right? Affirmed them in the stress that they were dealing with. And that's what we must continue to do. We must have alternative ways to reaching people besides just coming in, sitting down next, face to face with a person and just talking out your problem. It's got to be different than that. Like she said, meet them where they are, and I promise you, they'll start to really feel the healing taking place.
Like, we got 1,000 churches in our communities, right? And I don't feel like they're really involved, right, in mental health. So like, what does the process look like for you all as mental health leaders with individuals in these spiritual roles, and how do we get them from out of like the churches and pews and more involved in mental health in the community?
I'll let somebody else go. I feel like I'm been stealing.
I mean, it just depends. I know that there's some therapists that are Christian based, or it'll just depend on like what the church is offering. I don't think it's a thing that can exist. It would just be just a collaboration, a conversation needs to happen. There's churches everywhere, but I know that some people don't like associate with church and are that religious, so that might be a turn off to some people that want to just be therapeutic without the spirituality situation.
And I guess not necessarily implementing spirituality, but just that leadership component, right? Because it's like, obviously there's a lack of leaders and like individuals in the mental health community, right? Because we go and we don't, like, there's a lot of white, counselors, and everybody's like, I can't relate to them from not necessarily from a spiritual aspect, but from a leadership aspect. And like, if you all were dealing with these individuals, how would you, I don't wanna say call them out, but how would you go through that process and building that bridge, and not necessarily thinking that, they have to be spiritual, but.
I mean, I don't know, I think just offering yourself, because maybe the leaders, they don't know where to start either. So I would say, if you are involved in the church, just going to the leaders and offering your resources. I mean, a lot of churches give announcements, so have that be one of the announcements that's circulated every Sunday or whenever people are there, so they'll know, and then I think people will come eventually. Like, if they know one person is doing it, then somebody will follow behind.
Something that's also offered, I was on a project for school, is I don't know if it's churches, but some people do group counseling. Group counseling is a big thing too. So it's not like, not everyone can afford to do individual, but some kind of have group counseling for like grief or like just a lot of different topics. So that's something that I think some churches offer. So that's not the individual, but still an option of counseling, just doing with a group of people.
I do wanna say, like, I feel like for some church spaces, like, mental health needs to be destigmatized. I personally grew up in a household where, like, my mental health issues were deemed as demonic, and like, because I kept struggling with them as an adolescent, my parents were like, kept telling me like, oh, you don't have Christ in you, and like, it just instilled a lot of religious trauma. And so whenever you have like individuals who do come from those backgrounds where they feel like, something's wrong with them and it's, church related, it is nice to have like some resources that do kind of blend that in. But also it does start like within the church, like not demonizing these individuals and understanding that like, there's other ways to approach this rather than like shutting them out and shunning them,
And that was like kind of where I wanted to hit on, because again, there's tons of them, and like, how do we get them involved in helping healing, and not, like you said, destigmatizing.
So I think we forget churches are community spaces, and I think when we think about community, we gotta think holistically and bring in those resources into the church. If that's training the pastor or usher or so I think it just needs to be like an initial conversation and really let them sit in their stuff
Yes.
of how they're causing trauma, religion trauma, but it needs to be a whole group effort.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
It'll take some culture shift though, because I grew up in church too, and it's just, that's its own little culture, its own stigma, it's its own little thing. So I think it'll change eventually, because the generation that's coming behind, they're a strong type of radical. So if they want to make it happen, they're gonna make it happen. I'm sure they will.
Yeah. So you only answered this question. Anybody else? It was why do therapy and mental health conversations still feel taboo in the community?
I've answered already.
I would just say the same. It's passed down, and it's a lack of understanding of what mental health is and how we should really take care of it. Like, you don't have to be crazy to get help. Just be proactive. I don't think people really understand. Like, we want to take care of our bodies, physically, spiritually, but when it comes to our mental, it's like something is blocking. Like, no, you crazy. If you know you want to take care of that part of you. So yeah, I just think it's a lack of understanding and a lack of understanding, and people just not know. Like, people really just don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't know.
And that could pivot into schools too, because I've never worked in schools until recently. Like, I've gone to school, I feel like I'm a professional student. But like, working in the school, I've learned so much about like what parents just don't know or guardians don't know, just like how the system of the school works and just how bad it is to be labeled with an IEP or anything like that. But some of those things, if you educate yourself, there are tools that need your kids to succeed. I just think it's just a stigma that's on it. But like, some kids actually just need more help so you can actually succeed further. I just think sometimes if a label is put on you, it's just looked at as bad. It doesn't have to be looked at as bad. Like, there's literally like documentation that say that like your brain doesn't work like this person's brain, and that's not bad, it's just different. And just because it's different doesn't mean that they don't deserve the help because you don't want the stick. It's just this really bad cycle that I wish I would slowly get out of. I learned so much about mental health, talked to mom recently. I was like, well, I think I undiagnosed ADHD. She's like, girl, all of us do. I'm like, why do we never have this conversation, ma'am? Just even that conversation about health. We talk about health issues, like, what did your mom have? What did your dad have? Do we even ask, like, what y'all got any mental things going on? Because when do we talk about that?
Yeah.
Like, in the home, like, when do we say, like, well, I think
Those family secrets.
yeah, we need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it, bring it out.
Talk about it, put it on the table, so it ain't a
Talk
surprise. Stuff just pops off and it's just random.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So, you?
I was reading about something called the Superwoman schema, and it was talking kind of like pertaining to Black women, and it pertains to like all Black people, just how we have this, not this need, but I guess like this pressure to project confidence and to like work with little and to, you know, not show weakness and stuff, and having that pressure on us all the time, it makes us underuse the resources that we do have, and we kind of like, it's like embedded in our brains to like push it down and like keep going, push it down and keep going, and you know, we just end up getting burnt out in the end. So I would say that's probably a big reason.
For a long time, I really steered away from those type of mental health conversations, just cause it was like taboo, and like people always like growing up in the neighborhood, it's like mental health means you crazy or some stuff like that. But as of recently, like the last few years, I call and check on my people, ask them how they doing, not just financially, physically, like how you doing mentally. What you going through? You going through anything? Need somebody to talk to? I'm always hurt. Like, I feel comfortable having those conversations now, and I think people need to get in a place in their life where they feel comfortable having conversations with their loved ones, with their friends, their partner, however it goes.
I just wanna add a piece to that, you know, as we get into that, you know, being available, because I know I feel it all the time, you gotta be available for people. It's okay to be at capacity, it's okay to let people know that you are at capacity. I'm at capacity today, right? So I don't want you to feel like you can be all for everybody, or, you know, be one thing for everybody. It's just not possible. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're not well, then other people around you, you know, you can't give anything to them. So make sure that you're giving yourself, you know, that space and that time, right? I'm not calling cousins no more. I ain't calling nobody no more. I ain't doing it. You know, I can't. Now, if you call me and you got an issue, you got a need, you know what I'm saying? I'll lean in, right? But I'm in this season, I'm at capacity. I'm doing too much, and I have to be available for myself. I got my family. I need to be available for them, right? But I cannot be available if I'm pouring from an empty cup every day. And I want you all to take that too. And understand, like, you know, just because they, you know, the bill over here ain't paid, I got brothers in jail right now. I didn't put you there. So, you know what I'm saying? I didn't put you there, so I got, I've had to deal with that. I battled with it for so long to the point where now I'm starting to be comfortable not answering the phone anymore. You know, I'm kicked up with a drink.
Don't call me about Jesus.
Yes, sir.
I've always been like the friend that some of my other friends might feel comfortable opening up to, or coming to talk to me, pull me to the side and talking about things that maybe they're not comfortable talking about in the group. And I usually try to tell them to seek out some kind of professional help. I might even have spoken and said what therapy's done for me or things like that, but that tends to be not very motivating.
Facts.
So I was wanted to ask you all if you had some advice for a person like me that might be able to make professional services seem a little more appealing to people who are resistant to it.
I would say, people in the mental health field, like, they are the experts of figuring it out for you. I feel like often we rely on people that's comfortable, but at least with schooling for me, it gave me some extra tools that not everybody are privy to. So like me, therapy is not there to fix you. I think that's something that it's just like, oh, I'm going to therapy, they're gonna fix me. No. So therapy is gonna be there to like point out consistencies, like after you keep talking about something, just like patterns and different things, to spit it back at you like, oh, so do you know that this is a thing? Oh, did you notice this, or did you notice that? Somebody that you talk to is just one off, they're not gonna be able to get to the core of the thing. Now the people that seem resistant, they probably just don't want the help right now. They just want a one-off situation. So you just have to ask them, like, do you really wanna get to the nitty gritty of the core of your issue? All right, this is what you do. And if you want to just keep having these one-offs, that's cool. But when you really want to like get to the professionals, like you go to the doctor, you have issue. The doctor has the thing. You go to the mechanic for the car. Mental health is like they are the professionals of the mind, basically. So, you can't save everybody. In your statement, I always tell people nowadays, that same way that when you're on the plane, they say put your gas mask on first.
No, not the gas mask.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry, I'm not supposed to. Sorry. Put your mask on first. Sorry. But when we do training, when I have to do training, I have to put your suit on first, and then you do buddy checks. Put your oxygen mask on first. They say it every time. Before you do anything, put yours on first. And then help the next person.
That's right. You can't do it from an empty cup.
I like that. I had to come to the point, piggybacking off you, I had to come to the point in my life where I had to stop putting everybody else before self. Cause like you said, if you're not right within yourself, you can't help the next person. And so, I hit on point with it. Well, you hit on point with
You
it.
received it.
Yeah.
Hey, Haroon.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that question of why is mental health still considered taboo in our culture? I think the important context is it is even more, way more taboo with white people, which that is the dominant culture that we all were like fishes and they're like the water that we're swimming in. Even though they will kind of outwardly talk about like a superficial form of mental health that's kind of, it's very surface level or whatever, but we address, relatively speaking, a lot more deeper issues with our families, communities than white people they won't even touch, especially with the more liberal progressive ones, and they're looking at the the election results. And they know why it happened. It's just like this big old elephant in the room that I don't know how in the world they're not able to look at it. But like black people, on the other hand, that's something we talk about out loud already. We have some issues too we don't talk about. But sitting in this world where the very culture dictates ignoring the obvious does ultimately have an effect on us too, because the media is all around and everything. So, especially when it comes to what you were saying about capacity, we're a lot more likely to be dealing with somebody who's in jail than white people are. And so we have a different definition of capacity when another person's dealing with the issue that they have to deal with it there, whether they're at capacity or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're white people, there's kind of like, well, I'm not watching the news no more, you know, which they can do. And so that kind of makes us into like Superman mode and having to take care of ourselves at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
That's real. I like that. Thank
Next,
you for that.
how can we shift the language to reduce shame and stigma around mental health?
I think one of the things is like she said, just making sure people know that you're not crazy. And also that people go to school for these things and they can help you better than somebody just walking down the street or your friend. Like they have the tools to help you navigate through whatever you're going through. So I think if people take a different approach and really understand that, even what she said about the doctors, we go to the doctors because they went to school for this. Like they may have answers that we don't know. It's the same for our mental. So just letting them understand, letting people understand that they have the tools, they probably can help you with something that I can't. And they can go from there.
Jada touched on this a bit earlier. The term neurodivergence is becoming more popular, and it kind of champions the fact that there are people who are not neurotypical who think differently than other people. It doesn't mean that they necessarily have weaknesses, but there's strength in the different ways that they think, and they bring different things to the table, and kind of just like destigmatizing alternate ways of thinking and just like mental health conditions.
I challenge all things that are problematic as much as they come up, especially with my mother, you know, just try my best, like, why is that? Like, why is that? Like, why do you think that? I always try to come into it with a curious type of questioning, because when you do challenge people, it can get potentially heated because, you know, just depending on how you say it, I just try to ask questions like, what makes you think that? Or where did that come from? Sometimes people don't even know why they're feeling that way, it just has been. So I try my best to try to just challenge some things that I feel like are questionable. I'm just like, so you don't want to go to therapy because of what? Okay, so why not? Because I'm like, okay, what if this? And just kind of get down to the bottom of it. Because normally people will probably make a lot of excuses to get to it. I'm just like, okay.
I want to touch bases on it. So I kind of use good reverse psychology, right, to get people to, you know, to get people to understand. Okay, you know, there is something wrong right now, and I need to take care of it, right? I need to check that. But I say we need to stop using language to keep people in a world of stress or mental illness, right? For instance, my mom, she's been on drugs all my life. All she's ever heard someone say was, "You are a crackhead." That's it. So if she hears that constantly, do you think that's gonna make her want to change from being a crackhead? No. She's gonna like, well, you think that about me anyway, right? So what I had to do was change that narrative. And now, you know, like when I go to my mom, my mom was never able to say, "I love you." She was never able to say that, right? But guess how I learned to receive the love? By her actions, by the things that she do for me, right? She want to cook. I come home, I drive home, I'm gonna cook for you. What you want to eat when you get here? That's her telling me I love you. Right. So we have to be able to learn how to just change little narrative. Mom, you're the best. You're the greatest. I appreciate you so much, because that's what empowers people to get out of those issues that they're dealing with. You know, when I lift you up and I pour into you, you're gonna want to do great things. So we have to change that language.
I was gonna recommend the 5 Love Languages. It's a good book. It just breaks down in different ways people love you, like acts of service, gifts, words of affirmations, physical touch. Everybody loves differently, but that's always a great book. Gary.
That's true. But I also want you all to do this for yourself too. I did it when I first went off to college, and I didn't understand the trauma. I knew, you know, we all know that we have trauma, right? But do the Adverse Childhood Experience test. It's a little survey, right? It's a free survey that you can look at, the Adverse Childhood Experience Survey. That's the ACE score. Yep. Figure out your ACE score, right? And that lets you know the trauma that has plagued your life, right? Over the course of your childhood, because that's what we truly all dealing with anyway. We're all still kids. we haven't escaped childhood because we're still worried about when so and so got shot at and you was there. I'm still worried about the trauma of my grandmother getting shot, and I'm 7 years old and I see this woman at the door bleeding. I'm still dealing with those things, right? So you have to be able to examine those things by saying, you know what, I'm gonna take the first step to figuring out why. Okay? I ain't no preacher either. So
you got good information.
he's preaching. No, he's preaching.
For me, how I shift the language is anybody that knows me, I share my story with. I always talk great about having a therapist, how it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So whenever I get into those conversations, people be like, man, I ain't going to no therapist, woo woo. I counter that by telling them my experience and the experience of other people that's close to me that's going to therapy, how it helps them. And we go into more deeper dialogue and they get an understanding. And some people like, all right, who you go to? And I give them a reference to the therapist I've seen. I've had several different therapists. I think 3 white therapists and 3 black therapists. The white therapists I didn't resonate with. I didn't like 2 of them. One of them, she was good, she did her job, but she still couldn't go deep and understand because we from 2 totally different backgrounds. So, but I had my best therapist was a black therapist. Yeah, that was my favorite. And moving on to the next topic, systemic stress, the impact of racism, poverty, and trauma.
Ace. That's ace all day.
That's why when I heard you, I was like, yeah, we finna fall right into this one.
Yeah.
And we'll be focusing on recognizing how systemic oppression affects mental health.
I mean, we've been dealing with this, y'all, for over, what they say, 2,000 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, or is it 200 years, not 2,000? Huh?
It might have been.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We've been 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been dealing with it for so long. And I truly feel like there is no other race on the planet of Earth that have dealt with so much that a black race have dealt with. I really truly feel that deep down. And so I feel like that's something that we would never get away from. You would never be able to get away from that based off of those, you know, those Genesis moments. You know what I'm saying? So when we think about, how do we change it? It's never going to change. It's never going to change because it changes for subgroups. You know what I'm saying? It changes for the moment, but it still exists. It still exists. It always exists. So you have to learn how to manage it, right? Learn how to manage it. So we manage it by this, y'all, by coming together and truly saying, you know what, I'm gonna be a village for you, right? I want you to be a village for me. I want to lean on you. Can you lean on me, right? When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. I'm gonna take some cards. I don't think nobody know that. But you gotta just lean on people. You gotta offer yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? In that moment, like if you need a shoulder to cry on, there. Sometimes, y'all, this is very important too. Sometimes people are just there. You should just be there just to listen. Don't even offer any feedback to people. Just say, you know what? Can I just be here to listen?
Just be an ear.
Be an ear. It don't work for yourself. Sometimes you can't give yourself that advice. But hopefully I'm giving you some advice that you can take and utilize that. Just say, look, that's your advice. Can I just be here to just listen? And people sometimes, because that's what therapy do, right? They let you listen to yourself, and eventually you're gonna be like, man, yeah. Okay, you're right. I am crazy, right? So, yeah,
Need a little work done.
yeah, I need a little work done.
What was the beginning of the question again? Was it-
Sorry, I'm sorry,
It
y'all.
wasn't a question yet, right?
Uh-huh.
It was what? Who? What?
How does racism
Racism.
and generational trauma show up in our mental health?
Man, for me personally, I feel like I try to be the best version of myself no matter where capacity I've been. And so with that, it's never gonna go away because I feel like I make sure my character stays strong. I make sure that if I show up somewhere, I'm like the best, whatever. Like, I'm not a person that likes to be late. Like, if you're gonna count on me, you're gonna count on me. That's just who I am. But I just had two really weird situations where, just happened to be some white people that attacked me, and it just wasn't, it didn't make sense. And so luckily for me, like, my character stood consistently, like, for wherever I was, it was consistent there, and it was consistent in other situations too. Something else that would probably benefit is just having sounding boards, because for me, that helped in both of those situations where I'm just like, I know I'm not tripping. Can you tell me, like, what happened? Because I know that I show up to everything that I do, if anything needs to be done, I'm the person that can, like, I'm like the most consistent person. I just happen to be a black woman as well, so like, stop playing with me.
Right.
Professionally, like, stop playing with me. So like, you just have to show up at the best version of yourself so no one can attempt, well, they're gonna attempt anyway, but you just have to be prepared to make sure all your T's are crossed, I's are dotted, like, all of it. It's just,
And can I please and I ain't gonna be long, I promise. I'm only showing up as who I am in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because we're trying our best to be the best all the time. Like, I just want to exist in this moment sometimes, right? I don't want to try to show up nothing. If I was late 5 minutes, I was late 5 minutes. Give me grace. Like, seriously. We beat people up, man, and I don't understand it. I'm like, we are human beings. Like, we're all struggling. Stop putting pressure on me. Go ahead.
they preaching, not preaching.
Man, I hate that.
Well, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
On your lateness, was that something you couldn't help or you didn't give that?
It depends. No, it truly do. It truly do. It depends.
Yeah,
Right?
it's something, I
It
know
depends.
if it's something that you couldn't help, but if you,
It depends. It depends. It does.
especially if you told them you was gonna be there at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So sometimes I don't. So if I know for a fact I'm not gonna be somewhere at a certain time, I'm not gonna tell you, hey, I'm gonna be there at a certain time. I might just say I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Right? I mean, that's real. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there at 30. You know, and you know, in this minute. And we understand black people minutes. 30 minutes is an hour.
Yeah.
I don't live on
I mean,
sticky
no,
time.
I don't.
Well,
I don't
you ain't from where I'm from.
I'm close, and you know that.
No.
I'm close, and you know that.
No, y'all is from the same. Y'all from the. You from North.
I'm from
St.
North
Louis,
Side.
and you
Where
from.
you from?
I'm a little all over.
She look. See that. I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I say I'm gonna be there in 30 minutes, that 30 minutes might be an hour.
And that's where some things are just terrible because I can't stand depending on some people that you can't have a function.
Don't ask me to get the ice if you want me there on
I
time.
invite
I most definitely can count on Jada because she was the first
Be
person
on
here.
time.
I-
Yes.
Where our park at?
Exactly.
I
Be
agree.
Or
punctual.
communicate, cause I said I was gonna be late.
Yeah.
Yeah, communication is definitely key though.
And be follow up with what you're communicating. Don't leave it very vague to give us some
Yes.
wiggle rooms.
Are you coming to the speaking panel tonight? Yep, I will be there.
He ain't gonna let that go. He gonna move on.
Yes, ma'am.
But remember when you have something.
Yep. When I have
And
somebody.
You say, okay, you say for us to be there at 6 and we show up at 6:30 or 7.
I was late.
You
You
on
okay
time.
with it?
You on time.
Hey, I came to one of his events. I think it was like 15 minutes left, but I came.
You can because
It was like
it's like and that's the part people don't understand because once you're in that moment of where you can't be there on time, but you still showed up, you still beat up. So it's like, can I say damn?
Yeah.
Damn if you do, and damn, you know what I'm saying? Damn if you do, damn if you don't. So it's like I'm just going to show up as I'm gonna just show up as that version. I'm not gonna ever be disrespectful, right? But I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up for you.
I think it's as long as it's reciprocation.
Yeah.
And grace. if,
Nobody ever
And
reciprocates.
accountability too, and
Yeah.
reflecting in that moment.
Yep.
Like, can I do better at getting there on time?
Yep.
And not being CP time.
Okay.
yeah,
No, I try to get it
not
checked.
overlook and overrun yourself.
Yeah.
See
White
capacity,
people don't
right?
show up at all. White people won't show up at all.
Thank you.
Better late than never.
Exactly. I live by that. You know what I'm saying?
At least for me, I think about just like professional aspects. Like for me, I'm a very much so a person of my word, and I just feel like just how you show up just speaks to how you show up. Like for me, I don't know who I'm gonna connect to or what I'm gonna do. So like me showing up on time is just like, I don't know who's gonna be there. So I'm like, oh well, she shows up on time, and it just, I don't want to have to potentially not have you show up because I don't know if I want to invite you to someone else. Like I don't know if they're gonna be on time.
Yeah.
And for
First
me,
impression.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was it?
First impression.
Yeah, first impression and all impressions. I had to get on my if my mom sees it, she just gonna be whatever. But I had to get on her about something because I'm just like, you said that you were gonna do something at this time, and I had people, whatever. It's like, well, I was doing this. I'm just like, but let's be accountable. What did you do? I didn't do this exactly because I have people depending on you, and I'm the type of person that's on the time. So if you need to figure out something to get yourself aligned to be on time, make it happen. Because I value my time and my energy and my space. So
That's right. I like that too. Delegate, please.
Okay, I add something to that. Like, have you ever been to an event where nobody was late, where not one person came
Oh,
late?
no.
Okay,
Impossible.
so that tells me that this is a human thing, right? So why would I'm not gonna expect everybody to be there on time. I'm gonna expect everybody to be late. So when everybody come on time, I'm not even pressed about it because I expect y'all to be late.
Because guess what I've done? I've already prepared myself. I've
Right.
already gave myself
It
wiggle
shouldn't be
room.
that
Guess what I
big
call
of a
that? I
deal.
call that mix and mingle time.
Yeah.
So,
mix it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a mix and mingle
You
time
gotta
for those
prepare for
that I know for a fact ain't gonna get there until 7. That's when I'm starting.
But don't let people know the mix and mingle.
You let them know. Yeah, you let them know. And this is what I realize, y'all. The people that are supposed to be there are there.
Yeah, when they need to be.
They're there on time. If you want to be, you're there because you're supposed to be. We are here. There's some people right now who probably say, I'm going to that tonight.
Yeah.
I know because I sent it to a few people. They ain't here.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not.
My last birthday party, everybody was on time.
Look at that.
Because I said, I want you here at, it was 6 o'clock, no, 5, it was at 5 o'clock, but it was at this, the lady I used to work for, these rich folks, big mansion. So I think they was more nosy to see what was there.
There you go.
But they was there on time.
But also too, you made it clear.
I sure did.
That's it. You have that's that communication part. Make it clear. If you want me, hey, I need you here at this time, then of course I'm going, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But if it ain't said, stated, and I get
That's
it.
that age gap when you was talking about at your other meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an on-time person. My family had one time for them and one time for me. Mine was always later than theirs because they know that if you tell me to be here at 6 o'clock and you start at 6:35, I'm not gonna be here. You told me 6, I mean, that means 6.
That's true. But I got.
And you know what I do? I'll tell people, this lady started scratching her head. She said, what time are you gonna come bring this turkey? And I said, 5:42. 5:42, you know? I give people odd stuff, you know. I say, instead of saying 6:15, I say 6:18, you know.
That's real.
Hey, but I really want to hit on this question.
Another.
No, it's the same one. She's only one answer.
Hey, real quick,
What's up?
I've been around white people like 90% of my life, and rarely in an all black space, but I've never heard a group of white people spend this long talking about punctuality.
Yeah. That's true.
Important context. You have to work twice as hard, go half as far.
Yeah.
But the question was, how does racism and generational trauma show up in our mental health?
I said that, I spoke to her, she spoke to her, and
And I
she
didn't
did too.
speak to you.
Briefly. I mean, I just tap in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, we like deal with so much of it every day, like constantly all the time. Like you go online, you see racist stuff, you go to work, it's microaggression, you're sitting on the couch, you get like flashbacks of some stuff. It's like you guys were saying, like being the best you can be in that moment goes such a long way, even when you're acting nasty.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes with stress. Obviously, like the generational trauma, which is why we're here, right? So, it just impacts us, like, from our childhood to adulthood. So, I think it's important, because even if you're not going through anything in your adulthood, the trauma is still there.
Still there.
So, it's still important to have different outlets, you know, therapy or
Trauma one.
whatever works for you, journaling, writing, working out, things like that. So, talking about it just to release it.
For me, growing up, me, well, my neighborhood, my friends, whatever, and the police, like, we never had a good relationship with the police. It was from fighting police to shooting at police to just getting our houses kicked in, tore up, pulled over, getting our, back in the day they used to, you got speakers and sound system in your trunk, they ripping all your wires out, ripping your radio, turning your seats out, and to prison, dealing with COs in prison, how they just come through and do a routine search just to mess with you, take your things, tell you, man, I had Miss Dillard, remember Miss Dillard? I'm at work, I'm working in the kitchen, she mad at my celly for something and thought my locker was his locker, and I had my mother, she passed, right? So I had a shrine set up for my mother and stuff, I had my stones and all my little crystals and all that stuff. When I tell you I come home from work, and my celly, he stopped me, he like, bro, I tried to tell her, you finna be pissed off. Man, I hit the corner, I get in the cubicle job. Man, I get to the cubicle, sing my, boy. I went in the office, man, and I told that lady some things that I was supposed to tell her. And Hagler and Lindley, she called Hagler and Lindley on me. They came and they seen what she done. And they like, bro, just walk with me, man. She tripped. They was like, she tripped.
Y'all was in them together?
Yeah, we was in Ford City Low together. Yeah, that's where I met him.
Okay.
And just the trauma, like that stuff still carry on with me to this day. Like, if I see anything like a police car behind me, I'm trying to make sure everything's straight and I'm legal, but it still traumatized me that I gotta get myself together.
It's on my heart to share this, because
Yes,
I do
ma'am.
this work all the time. But I think, going to your question, why does, generational trauma continue after years and years? I think it's a mindset thing. I think people get scared to separate themselves from their environment. So if you are conditioned to stay in an environment you're used to year after year, you're gonna fall into being a drug dealer or doing drugs or whatever that is in your environment. If you are not in a space to separate yourself and surround yourself around people who are trying to heal, then you're going to be always in that generational trauma. So I think it's always going back into a mindset thing. Getting uncomfortable with yourself. And I think when we were talking about language, I think that is mindset and getting uncomfortable is one of the two things we really have to teach our community and model that. So like us here, we are those type of people, we are gonna do that. Like he is all over the place, black men, box out, good ass pickles, And he's showing people, I don't have to be my past, I don't have to be my trauma. Does that make sense?
Yeah, cause I was that, hey, tell you,
That's what you was.
I was.
Traumas, triggers, right? Most traumas have triggers. So like, how do you all, what do you recommend, like when you're dealing with these traumatic experiences, obviously, right, that was a trigger for you. Controlling triggers, because I think that's something that we really have to like understand and how to control triggers, and that's what kind of set us off into the traumatic experiences when we're not able to reckon like how to control ourselves when we're dealing with that trigger. Like for me, you splashing with some water in my face, I'm like, you know, I don't play, right? So, but that's also, I've had to come to manage my trauma with that and deal where I'm not triggered when it happened and I'm spazzing out, you know what I mean? So, like,
Being accident or purposely.
don't play with me.
So how you deal, your question is how you deal with that, right? With anything that we do, we must practice, right? If you want to be good at something, you got to practice it, correct? So I have to practice, right? Because I know what the trigger is. It's no different than when we was in school. The young people, they still do it. When somebody say your mama, they ready to fight. That's a trigger. Somebody say your mama, you ready, aren't you? Yeah, see? It's a trigger. So I gotta practice that. I teach my son, like, look, son, your mama, what does that mean? So I practice with him so that's not an issue. Somebody says, mommy, yeah, my mama, he tell him her name. That's her name. This is who she is. Right? So you have to practice that. You have to practice how to stay away from the trigger so it won't become a part of your trauma.
Something that I had a boys group that most of them, it was like an anger group, but something I realized is that sometimes with anger, it's impulse, and so you gotta pause. I used to work with them a lot with pausing because, listen, something like that, you just ready to go, just learning to pause in those moments would do a whole lot. I used to tell them Twix pause, freeze, count to 5, because it's easy to kind of react. It's easy to react because it's impulsion. You're gonna just do it because your body is ready. Just work on pausing in those moments, and it'll do a lot because your body will have to hopefully it'll slow down. But just pausing those moments, the pause will do a whole lot. Pause.
And yeah, we different. Kids are different than the adults. Kids in school, but they don't know how to calm down. Right?
No.
That's why they're there. So that's why we teach them the skill. But I hope the adults, we're able to practice it. You know what? Like, this is what's happening to my body right now, and this is what I need to do.
I think because sometimes like they don't even recognize like it's a trauma, like it's a trigger, it's a trauma. So like when that happens, like it's like what is that? And people again are not realizing that these are trauma responses that are happening. So like in controlling that or even being aware of it, like how to learn.
That come with having to learn how to know yourself and know your emotions, know your feelings, and that way you can learn how to control them. With me, with anxiety in different situations, I do deep breathing because I know that calms me down. I know that I practice it and it calms me down. Sometimes when I get anxiety, I don't use the breathing treatment. I might partake in some sativa, and that relaxes me and calms me down. It's holistic. It's an alternative. It works for me. It works for me. You had something to talk about? You wanted to add?
I mean, I kind of forgot, but I was gonna say something about the children, because I taught middle school last year English, and I think it's just important for us to reach the kids first, because they have a lot of trauma. So like what she was saying, we as adults are conditioned, but if we reach the youth first, like at a young age, the age where they can understand, like young, then I think it will help like the community as a whole.
Kids are so much more advanced now too, because I'll be working with this elementary school kids. I was not like this in 3rd and 4th grade. Who is y'all? Because just the internet and exposure to social media, I feel like I was dealing with like Little Housewives. I swear, like 4th or 5th grade, I'm just like, listen here. So like, kids probably can handle a lot more conversation than you think they can. Like if you literally just like not use difficult words, but just talk to them, they probably already paying attention, listening anyway. Like have conversations, just have a conversation. I've had so many conversations with kids like, listen here, let's just have a talk. Let's just relax and just explain things. Also explain stuff to kids. A lot of time they in their own world. I took some adults, I'm like, kids are selfish, especially if they're like kindergarten to like 4th grade. Like they only think of themselves. That's just how kids are. So you have to explain to them like, this is this. To be a friend, You have to share. You have to know these things. Tell people what you're thinking. You can't. No one can read your mind. You have to explain what's happening. So you just gotta teach people.
Right.
You had anything to share?
Yeah, whenever you like start to have those conversations, like you, like you guys were saying, like as a kid, you can like start instilling those adaptive coping skills. So it's like, you know, you're talking to a kid, the kid's upset, it's like, okay, you're upset, you're crying right now, you're like yelling and stuff, that's how you're using, or that's the coping skill you're using right now. But it's like, you know, I found that like even the stuff that calmed me down when I was a kid, I do it as an adult, and it's so helpful for my inner child. Like, I work with adults, and it's like so many of them love coloring, and it's so like calming, and it's like me and this adult now, I have so many coloring books in my house. You know, doing word searches, stuff like that. Like getting back in tune with your inner child, and like, you know, like you were saying, when you really sit with yourself and get to know yourself intimately, you know, you understand like, okay, how do I like cope in a maladaptive way, and how can I cope better, and like, how can I, you know, calm myself when I am stressed. Yeah.
That's real.
Next question. What role does poverty and housing instability play in stress and depression?
I mean, people always gonna be stressed and they feel like they barely making it. Like, I mean, it's been a point in time where I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I have 3 kids. So I'm just stressed and like, what do I need to do? Like, my body, my mind, nothing was at rest. So it's always like stressful anxiety, which is not helpful, which is not helpful for me to parent either. So, I mean, I just think that comes natural. Like, when you stress about life itself and being stable, then it's just not a healthy space.
I'm gonna speak to it from a psychology standpoint. When those Maslow hierarchy needs are not really met, I read your mind. When they're not, I mean, and that's for anybody. I'm talking about that's for a dog. You know what I'm saying? That's for an animal, right? When your basic needs are not met, it automatically creates stress within our bodies, within our framework. So it plays a big part when those essentials are not there.
That's what I would do if I had a kid that didn't normally like spaz out. I ask the question: did you eat?
Yep.
Have you slept? All right, those are the 2 biggest ones. But usually it's because they haven't ate or haven't slept. And knowing the system and like however, like if somebody had a new sibling born, I'm like, all right, they start acting all whatever, okay. And then the snack or like give you a snack, but those the ones right there are the main ones that be having the kids spazzing. So like if kids even don't get their basic needs, those are the same thing.
And I swear, man, them kids, man, when I was a school counselor, you just ask them one question, they just go on over. Yeah, I didn't get no sleep last night because my mom and her boyfriend was fighting. Like, okay.
And they always hungry.
We didn't even eat.
Always.
I didn't even like lunch. Well, I didn't like it. Was nasty.
You wasn't home.
Anybody else on that topic? Any question?
I feel like whenever you have like those needs, you start to be in like survival mindset, and then like that starts to turn into lack mindset, and you're like overall you're just like vibrating low, and whenever you vibrate low, you attract like low vibrational things. And so like you guys were talking about earlier, changing, you know, the language that you're using, you start to think differently and you start vibrating higher, and it, you know, overall improves your mental health.
I think a lot of people get to that point though, because if you're vibrating low and you're going through poverty and you're not stable, how does someone start speaking those things?
Motivation.
I would say the little things matter. Little things. It's all about perspective too. Like, I've probably not been in the greatest situation within the last couple months, but I'm in a place where I'm like, I'm happy and I'm chasing happiness. Happiness and joy is kind of hard to chase when there's a lot going on, but you can choose to chase. It's so much harder though. especially when all the things around you aren't going how you want to. But if you wake up and say, I'm gonna choose happiness, you get a little perspective, but it's like, man, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do with that. But if you look at it in a different way, it could be a totally different perspective. Everything is perspective, even the hardest situations. Like, I ain't got this, I got this. You know what, I woke up, it's sunny outside, it's this, it's that. It's perspective as a whole, it's a big
Yeah.
thing.
And I tell myself sometimes too, and y'all can use it. I promise you it works. I would like if I'm in a situation where I'm stressed out, I will not stay here because I can't stay here. Nothing is forever. Does that make sense? I will not stay here because I cannot stay here. Nothing is forever. We understand that everything has a season, a reason and a season, right? So if you tell yourself that, I promise you'll start to feel like, you know what, why am I tripping? Why? This too shall pass.
With me, how the system's set up, it's like it's focused on keeping people in poverty because of this capitalism. Capitalism breeds racism, and it's just something that we just been dealing with, especially here in America, since like damn near forever. And we're resilient. So we were resilient to it. Like they can put us through all the hard times they want to. We still find a way to find peace. We still find a way to find happiness, and we still find a way to move on and keep pushing. Huh?
That's why we the most hated.
Yeah.
That's why we have Thanksgiving, y'all. That's why, yeah. Think about our ancestors, man. They just getting the slops. They just throw them out there. We just gotta eat whatever. And they just come together. Like, come on over here to my hut. You know, I got some hog knuckles.
The truth is your Thanksgiving is not good. But
I'm talking about for us as people. That's why we got the soul food, right? Just come over here and do this and eat this. And they don't know what they eat, but we made it way out of nowhere. That's why because we was resilient. Yeah. Now they got the good stuffing. We got the stove top. We had the camp top. We had camp top stuff, and you know our ancestors had. But it was, you know what I'm saying? But because we realized that we had to, right? That was we either drowned or we swam, you know. And that's in our society now. You know what I mean? Like we gonna make it way. We gonna make way. You hungry? You gonna make it way.
Moving on to our final section. From surviving to thriving.
Ooh, I like that.
Building collective wellness. And the focus will be on how community, intergenerational connection, and mental care supports healing. And the first question will be, what does community care look like beyond individual therapy?
It looks like this.
Say that.
Absolutely. It looks like this. Us coming together as a group, not only piggybacking off of each other, but it's support in a different way. So you speaking on like ways to mitigate stress, because everybody knows it's not the disease, stress is #1 killer. So if we support each other, it does come into play as like, you know, we have a support system, especially for Black people. I feel like we don't have a lot of spaces where we can support each other and it's okay, you know? So I think this is important.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's true. We talked about this the whole time, just making it available. Like support me and I support you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody in here do something, right? And so if you could share my post, if you could vote for me, you know what I'm saying? Like it goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to show up in that capacity. We think we have to show up with money all the time. It ain't about that. It really just about you saying, hey, come on. You know, you ask me to be on the mic. All right, cool. I'm at capacity, but I'll be there for you.
Right.
Even if I'm late.
I would say continuous connection and community, because I feel like you can't have community if you don't continuously connect. And I feel like it's easy to isolate yourself when you're like back against the wall. But I feel like I've connected and learned so many people because I just constantly just go out and have a conversation, Like, oh snap, you know somebody, okay, I know somebody, but continuously have a conversation with people and just see what happens.
I would say the same. I mean, connecting, community, offering resources, and pushing it, you know. Someone said this at my mental health brunch, like, we push everything else, you know, clothes, shoes, music, but not the important things that really help us and take care of us and like help us thrive as a community. So just keep pushing the resources, you know, that's offered.
You got some ideas of different types of resources?
I mean, I have to think about it, but I guess.
Box Out Stress is a resource.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good Ass Pickles is a resource.
I mean, my resource, but right now it's just once a year, you know,
Yeah.
my mental health brunch.
Jada, you actually had an idea you was running across me and bro.
Mm-hmm.
You mind sharing it?
Oh no, so how did I even come up? I just be thinking about stuff. But no, I thought about I don't think after having multiple conversations with men, I grew up around brothers and everything, men don't stretch. So like, it's a thing that's not like focused on outside of sports. Like I do sports, like, ooh, and then like I stretch a little bit, but like the importance of stretching. So what I'm trying to gather is basically like a stretching type of event that's for men one day and then like a mix and mingle the next day, where I can just stretch, because stretching is so important to the body. Like you can like feel your body more, and it actually makes you more fluid. I know so many people that can't touch their toes, and then like they get injured. It just holds you back. Like me, I ruptured my Achilles, and like me being like a dancer and stretching has helped me so much more through my healing than I feel like most people. And I feel like I'm the youngest person to be in my physical therapy as well. Everybody in my physical therapy session be like, they be older. They be like 70. And I'm just like, I ain't trying to get there, but I feel like if you stretch now, then it'll be so much better. So that's what I'm trying to do, is get a stretching session for men, and then eventually men and women as well, just to stretch. It helps with mindfulness too. It can ground yourself too, just stretching. Like
Y'all need to connect.
Yeah,
She's a
know
yoga
a man-
instructor.
You know what I said? I know a man that does yoga for men. Yeah,
Who?
yeah. He does yoga for men. I have
Ooh.
classes.
Yep. We gonna talk.
You got something to add, Laura?
Yeah, just like backing off like what you guys are saying, like just connecting is so important. Being able to like learn the love I didn't receive from my friends allowed me to teach love to other people. And like I just participated in a community wellness event with community movement builders, and I was teaching art therapy, and somebody else was like teaching about herbs and stuff. Just having like events like this where people are talking, people are sharing, is so important. People can like get connected.
When was that? I missed it.
Yes, last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago.
You had something to add, Coach P?
No, but we're talking about yoga. I'm starting to do yoga in the park at Macon Park every Sunday, stretching, grounded work, and like fitness. So, but no, switches. So yeah, that's the next.
Before you close out and all that, can I please get y'all to go to the Kansas City People's Choice? You ain't done yet. You said it was the last question.
No, I didn't.
That's
the
the
last
last
section.
Oh.
They gonna vote for you. Hey, can everybody please vote for my man?
I'm on a roll.
Rich Chair.
Ask a challenging question, and sorry, I'm not holding, but I just really wanted to ask this question. As someone mentioned, like, we gotta reach the youth, and I'm all down for youth. I love youth. I do yoga with youth. But what I notice is we teach youth these techniques, these coping skills, and they go home back to the trauma, the screaming, the yelling, the dysfunction of the family. So my question would be, how can we reach families and help them heal? So that way, as a kids, we're teaching them, we have them majority of the time, right? We have them 8 hours a day. They're showing like, yes, I can make a change, but my mom is continuously yelling at me, then I'm going to be triggered all the time, you know? So how can we reach families to really heal and to sit in they shit to overcome their own trauma?
I'm just add to that. Like when I do my kids boxing sessions, and you know, like I said, it's therapy, right? I ask the parents to do it with them.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it with them. Like you want at least a one session, because now you get to understand what your child is probably going through, what they're experiencing.
Right.
So, you know, and hopefully you can take those tools and those techniques and go back and truly try to utilize those. But, you know, I think being able to, you know, when people say my kid, they going to school, they doing this, they doing that, sometimes it's probably because you haven't had that conversation. I do like 15 minutes. I devote 15 minutes a day. And not a little bit more than that, but just get 15 minutes of time, like nothing else. Is just you and your child or your kids, 15 minutes. Doing stuff like this, bring them with you. Bring them with you. Let them see you doing that stuff. Let them hear the conversations.
The reality I had to come with often that saves me from like my heart just being in pieces all the time working with kids. It's like you're not gonna save and connect with everybody the best you can. And so with some kids, honestly, they might be the change makers for their parents. It just might be that. Like you just have to constantly feed them and say, you're doing the right thing, you're not doing anything wrong. And explain like being an adult is stressful and this is how your parents potentially may be going through it. Maybe it's not the best, but that's all they know. So I'm giving you tools so as you get older, you can do these things and just keep on practicing. Hopefully, maybe the parents and guardians can see that their child are doing certain things and then maybe can bridge a conversation. I just say keep feeding to the kids and invite the parents and guardians. But if they don't come, just keep feeding
I just
the
wanted
kids.
to spark that question because I used to see all the time you speak the positive things into kids and they you know, you see them, their little light bulb go off and they ready to tackle the world and then they come back a week later and they back to
just let you be their light bulb.
You know, so it's just, you know, I just want to
Monthly breakout sessions for parents where it's like required for them and putting them in a separate space. Because sometimes in even counseling, which I don't understand, the marriage counseling, like they have like both spouses in the same damn.
Right.
You need to separate that, right? So the children can feel comfortable and the parents are also like.
Some marriage counseling sessions where you have to have yours first. That person has.
It depends on the therapist. Some therapists don't like to separate. Some
Yeah,
it's
a lot of them.
It's a therapist.
And what I would add was, if you don't see those type of spaces, create it. Like sometimes we just gotta create our own ideas, bring our ideas into manifestation, and watch it bloom from there.
Facts.
Can I say something?
Yes,
You know
ma'am.
how, when I retired, I went to work for Visitation Catholic School after school program, and was nothing but white children there, and there was one young black girl there, and they taught me board games. I was so fascinated about board games that I went and bought out. Anyone heard of Mancala?
Yeah.
Okay. The white kids love Mancala. Our black kids, that's an African game. And that year I went out and bought like 6 games to give to my grandkids and everybody else to play games. So up here I want to start a game day.
Let's
for
go.
I got a lot of
children.
games already.
Yeah, because there's one that came to us called Chicken Feet. And everybody heard of Chicken Feet? See? I'm serious. Once you get into playing that board game, that's it. And the people that come up here and play bid whist and all that, you should come and sit one day with us.
Yeah.
Because, well, okay, now you gotta come and it's really raunchy. It's some raunchy talking and everything, but the game.
Yeah.
You sound like community.
I have a partner that has a game show, and I host with him on game,
Right.
so we can definitely come in here and do
Yeah,
something.
a black lady has did a game called Sling-a-Lane. Sling-a-Lane game, and she came and presented that game with everybody, and it's talking about things back in the 60s and all that stuff like that. We had it's called Books, the other channel up there. It's called a book club. I went and got t-shirts for everybody, and the little kids came and see my books up there, strictly black books and everything, and that's what we did. And then COVID came in and shot that up, but getting them back in. But they need to know what a book is. And they can't bring, their phones come in, their phones are down. We don't do phones and everything, but kids, that's what my heart is right now.
I like that.
Start with the little ones and work our way up.
Yeah.
We can
Games
really-
are important. I don't know know what age kids start learning games, but with my my anchor group that I had, games will teach a whole lot of things. So just like engagement with each other, just sharing, collaboration, talking about rules, sharing how to teach kids how to play Uno. Cause I don't know when do you learn Uno? I just know Uno and just introducing it because some didn't know. Just like talking about like, well, I play like this, I play like literally playing games is it kind of plays into play therapy. But like doing different games actually helps kind of understand people. I learned so much about kids just watching them play a game. If they share, they don't share. If they communicate, don't communicate.
About adults too.
Yeah, you do. You do. That's why I don't play Monopoly. That's too long and too hedgy for me. But yeah, playing games is very important.
I kind of love that.
Did you go?
She did.
You went?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this last question, we really already went over this topic.
Look at us.
We already went over that. So, it's open for any questions, Q&A. Anybody want to ask the panelists any questions?
No questions, but I do have a suggestion. It's so funny because I did not know that this was going on today. It just happened out of nowhere. And my friend right here was talking about stress and all the things. And I'm always stressed out and all the things. And I said to him, think about what you can control. We can control eating. And when I stress, I don't eat. When he's stressed, he overeats. I'm like, I need to eat. I know I'm stressed out. That's the only thing I can control today. So let me just make sure I have 3 meals throughout the day. And I'll worry about the bills and everything I have to get done another day. Sometimes you just have to focus on what you can control and just go from there. Also, I'm a licensed massage therapist. I know sometimes it's difficult to get massages because of the pricing, but I will say if you have a partner or just a companion at home, anyone, just ask them to give you a little 10 minutes, on the shoulder. Sometimes it helps, and it actually helps a lot. But I know how it is when you're not used to doing it. Once you get to, palpating muscle, your hands get tired. But even a little 5 minutes helps. So even if it's your daughter, your son, like, hey honey, can you rub my feet for a little bit? Like, just try and do something for yourself.
Yeah. Any other questions, statements?
I would just say keep doing what you're doing. Like you said, we need more spaces, so I enjoy this topic. And I know it's hard to get people to buy into it, but I think we have to realize storytelling is big too. So like share this out, and we all share it out to our people to get more people to come in and just sit and talk.
Thank you for that.
I would have had some people come with me, but I got right off the road, went home, changed clothes, and came here. I wasn't gonna go pick her up, because I would have made it back at like 7:30.
I gotta put my mask on.
The people that's supposed to be here.
Yeah,
I told y'all that.
Panelists, do you guys have any events or anything coming up? Feel free to share. Starting with you, Jody.
This was the biggest one, first panel, I feel like this is my season where I'm advocating and speaking up more. I just kind of feel like exist in the background, which I don't mind, but I think it's time for me to speak out, and here I am. So, yeah.
Again, for you brothers, next Tuesday at Black Coat. Anybody know where the Combine Pizza spot at? Down in the basement of there, we have our men's monthly, the first Tuesday each month is our Accountability Brothers series where we unpack. So please be down there. Come on down there and unpack. It starts at 6 o'clock. We got the mix and mingle.
Get there at 7.
Right? We got the mix and mingle. 7 o'clock. We will be starting the conversation though.
On time.
On time. Oh yeah, we're gonna start on time. That's why I'm giving you the mix and mingle. I'm giving you the mix. Thank you, bro. They don't understand. Yeah, and go vote for me.
This was a week before.
Yeah, if it was a week before.
You guys could have been at my brunch, my mental health brunch. But I think this is the only thing I have coming up now. This is my first panel as well. I host, but I've never been on. So,
I got 3 questions. With me, what I got coming up? This is what I had coming up. I host these every last Wednesday of the month. Every month is a different topic, different set of panelists. And, I do have something coming up. I forgot the service. Who is it? What's up? Peace of power, peace of power. But,
He's voting.
oh, he voted? Okay. Coming in July, I'm starting a organizing, training, and development workshop. It'll be from the ages of 17 and up. I'm really trying to focus on getting the youth out here organizing because, like everyone knows, the youth is our future, and we got to get them trained up and be able to organize around the issues and things we got going on in the community that's holding us back. They got a voice, they got ideas, and we need to give them the proper training and strategies to bring those ideas into reality and do something helpful for the community besides destroying the community. So, if you guys know anyone, and it's not just, like I said, it's from 17 and up, you know anyone that's interested in getting organized and training and development, send them to me. And I got my curriculum already done. I'm still working on all my facilitators, and that's gonna be something good. That's what I got coming up. Anybody else in the audience got anything coming up?
I have a yoga platform, so I have my June schedule out and I leave some cards. So if anyone's interested in yoga.
What's your name?
Oh, sorry, I'm Danielle Small, and my platform's called Dear You Yoga.
He's interested, and I'm interested too. I've been telling him to stretch, so when you ladies started talking about that, yes, it's imperative, not just for men, but for all of us. I mean, the older we get, it's harder to get moving, and it's just good, kind of like pre-starting that car, warming it up in wintertime. We gotta start our muscles and get everything warmed up before the day.
Hey, I think meditation is a big one too. I didn't hear nobody saying anything about it, but meditation, just sitting there, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That meditation.
Mr. Ike, you had something in the back.
Yeah, when you was asking about something coming up,
I love pickles, so, excuse me.
okay, excuse me. When you was talking about if you got anything coming up, yes, on the first Tuesday, I think it's August the 5th, we're gonna have a national night out against crime. And since, crime and mental health is related, I was wondering if this panel could come out, or somebody on it, anybody, come out and speak, for a few minutes about mental health,
When is it again, Mr. Ike?
August the 5th. I think that's
What
the
day
first-
is that on?
It's on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday?
At 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Now, the police will be here if you got an outstanding warrant. Yeah, so I'll probably have a mask on.
Where would the event be? Where is it at?
Right here. Right here.
Well, this brings us to the end of the We Keep Us Safe KC panel discussion. I'd like to thank everyone for attending and give our panelists a round of applause. The Clipper man back there helping us stuff with the snacks, so everybody feel free, mix, mingle, get to know one another, and thanks for coming.
Alright, now y'all take out your phones. Y'all ready?
I love you.